Hello, beautiful beings. How are you today? So, I hope everybody can listen to me. And we will start it today with our live. And thank you for everyone to be here today. And uh, the intention of this live and this online cook classing. It's because I've been doing 14 years of experience as a nutritionist, chef, and in a holistic way that I approach my clients. And I just want to show you a bit how you can cook at home in the easiest way. And first, I just want to give you a few tips uh, about oils and salt. So, usually, um, like 10 years ago or more than 10 years ago, was very common for us to use sunflower oil or soy oil or even any type of vegetable oil to cook at home. But um, nowadays, those types of oils, we need to be careful which one we're going to use it. So I don't recommend to be using any type of sunflower oil or any type of soy oil or rice oil or because first they are all GMO. What is a GMO? Is a genetic modified organism, which means the seeds being modified genetically, and it's very the way it's being producing. It's not um, more safe for us to be using. So when we think about using oils for cooking, we need to think nowadays it's very common. Everyone says that we should be using coconut oil, but and then coconut oil, it's a saturated fat, so we need to be careful in the way we use. If we start to using coconut oil for everything, we need to be careful because and then we're gonna increase the amount of saturated fat that we are intaking. So we need to be careful on those things as well. So usually I like to, in my kitchen, I like to be a bit of mix with those. So what I do use, it's usually olive oil for cooking, but you need to be careful because olive oil, it's easily when gets in a higher temperature to break down saturated fat. So usually it's amazing for do dressings and also for do saute. If you're gonna cook more than 5 minutes, olive oil is not recommended anymore. So that's what we need to be careful. So if you're gonna bake it, olive oil is not recommended to this. Okay, so we need to be careful because sometimes we need to use like we say that can last longer in a higher temperatures, and olive oil is not one of those. So we need to be careful because when comes from unsaturated fat to becomes a saturated fat in a higher temperatures, what's happening is we can produce trans fat, so, and it's very dangerous for our body. So that's why we need to be careful in the way we are using those vegetable oils. Okay, so once again, olive oil is recommended to use in a saute when in a pan that you're gonna stir fry for 5 minutes, or in a dressing or in a salad. Okay, usually I recommend to cooking or to baking grapeseed oil. Unfortunately, grapeseed oil, the only problem is that we cannot find organic, so it's a bit contaminated with pesticides and also chemicals. But it's amazing oil to be um, to like accepted higher temperatures, so not gonna break down to a saturated fat too easily. So you can use for baking for a long period or cooking for a long period. Another oil is good as well as avocado oil. Another oil as well that is good to do it, it's macadamia oil and linseed oil, hemp seed oil. It's all full of omega-3. So we need to be careful also and use those ones to cooking because you're going to lose the omega-3. So, and then it's no pointless to buy those good oils to be using for cooking. Once again, those oils is good for the raw things or even to do more dressing with it. Okay. So another thing is the coconut oil, you still can use it, but don't use for everything. You can use for some bakings, but just be aware that coconut oil it is saturated fat, so you need to be aware of that. That is okay. It's health. I'm gonna use for everything now. It's the same with olive oil. Oh, it's health. I'm gonna use for everything now. No, we need to find a balance um, with those things and use also in a minimal quantity because the excess of the vegetable oils can inflame also your body. So that's why we need to be careful in how much we are using. Okay. So here also I'm gonna say about the salts that we can use in the kitchen. Uh, that is two that I would like to recommend is the Celtic salt, which is around 80 milligrams. In 1 tablespoon, it is around 80 milligrams of sodium, or you can use magnesium salt or potassium salt, which is that one here, that can be around, in here says around this is around 300 milligrams of sodium. So it's very low in sodium, and that is very important, especially if you have trouble with circulation or retention, and also with bad digestion. We need to work on reducing um, I'm cooking the chickpea for a show up for you guys as well. But also we need to be aware of how much sodium we are intaking in our body because if you already notice that you have a problem with circulation or with retention or even with your digestion, so that's mean may you are using a lot of salt in your diet. But and then you say like, oh, I don't usually put salt when I'm cooking, but and then you just buy all the pre-packagings or everything that is ready for you to grab and go, and then those is the dangerous ones because everything has sodium. So because sodium is a type of natural preservative, so that's why they put sodium in everything. And another thing, it's oil, it's fat. They use fat in everything as well, so that they're gonna preserve that um, food that they are selling. So we need to be aware and be careful what we are actually intake. So, for example, Himalaya salt and sea salt is very good. Not, don't take me that wrong, but in 1 tablespoon of it, you're gonna get from Himalaya salt 1,000 milligram, from sea salt 1,200 milligrams, and from a salt table, the normal one, 1,200 milligram. So the only difference between the sea salt and a normal salt, it is that the sea salt has other minerals in, and the Himalaya salt also has more minerals in. Okay, but sometimes if you are the type of person who likes a lot of flavor on your food, and then you put salt in your cookings when you are cooking, and then when you sit on the table you add more salt in, so you need to be very carefully which type of salt you are using. That's why I usually recommend the potassium salt, because the potassium and sodium regulates the amount of sodium that's in your body, and then that will help regulate your circulation or retention. So in here, and this in here, now we're gonna start to cooking. I'm gonna show you 5 recipes, easy and quick. The first one that I'm gonna show you, it is the granola high protein. So, which usually the I struggle to find a good granola in the supermarket because they love to put maple syrup in everything, or any kind of syrup, sugar sometimes, a lot of coconut oil, or a lot of sunflower oil, or another type of vegetable oil, or sometimes they don't have that balance, and then sometimes they put a lot of oats or a lot of fruits, dried fruit, and that kind of doesn't have that balance, and then it's more carbohydrated or more sugar. And I, because I'm trying to be more plant-based, I don't usually eat meat on my daily basis, so I always try focusing and raise a bit the protein from my grains or from my seeds. So I like to do more granola that is more high protein, and not too sweet and not too load in oils and in syrup, because syrup, the problem with syrup is the higher it's a high in fructose, and when we ingest too much fructose without the fiber, we can digest through the liver, so it's not very health for us, especially if you are not digesting properly, or if your liver is not working properly. So it can overload your liver in a way that if you are having too much fructose intake daily. So that's why I try to think about all those things when I'm doing my recipes, when I'm creating my recipes. So it's quick and easy. What it's important always as well, it's some types of things it's not good for us to having raw, or we need to activate it. So the buckwheat I'm gonna use, it's a type of grain that a lot of people use it raw, but I activate it, so I soak it for 12 hours, and I keep change the water. So as you can see here, and I can now use to do my granola. So I'm taking the water out. Usually I change the water 4 times, and what I done is I the first 2 hours I soak it with water and apple cider vinegar, and that's and one tip, it's with filtered water. So because I will take and remove all the chemicals and all the anti-nutrients that are in, such as phytic acid oxalate, that will if you ingest it in a lot of it, you're not going to observe iron, calcium, and magnesium. So that's why you need to be careful when you eat a lot of raw seeds or raw nuts, or even the beans, or some of grains, because if you don't activate it, which is soak it overnight for 12 hours to take all these anti-nutrients, you can actually like upset your stomach, upset your gut. So that's why it's very important for us, when you, for example, you see in the supermarket, oh, this is activated, or this is just natural. So that's the reason. So when it's activated, they soak it and then they dehydrate it again. So and then it's ready for the consumption. And then if you are the type of person is vegan, or you like to eat more raw things, or you like to eat more whole meal food, but you're not activating those types of food, it's kind of like it's harmful for you as well, because you're not doing the right way, and then you're not observing properly the iron or the calcium or the magnesium. And that's why sometimes you have deficiencies, but you are actually eating health or normal like you are thinking. So you need to be careful with that. So I'm gonna grab a bowl in here, gonna put the buckwheat in here, which is already activated, and I'm gonna mix the pepita seeds and the sunflower seeds, which is raw, but because I'm gonna bake it in the oven, so it doesn't need to be activated. I like to activate it, the buckwheat, because even though I'm gonna toast in there, it's important to be a bit of um, activated. So because the grains, it's like the legumes. Even though you're gonna cook the legumes, it's important to soak it for 12 hours to take all these anti-nutrients from it before your consumption. I'm gonna put some nuts in here. You can choose the type of nuts you want. I choose cashews and pecan, and I'm gonna put the flaked coconut in. So what I do now, I can use as optional some dry fruits. I'm only gonna use goji berry, but you don't need to bake the goji berry. Now what I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna use a little bit of coconut oil together with the pumpkin that I cooked. I'm gonna blend this. So I'm gonna put in here, and I'm gonna put a bit of seasonings, which is cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, because ginger is very, very important to help digest the vegan proteins that in this granola. So that's why I like to use a lot of ginger, fresh ginger or ginger powder. And in here also has cloves powder that is amazing for our brain. I love use Indian seasonings because it's actually very important for our brain to function properly, and it's also anti-inflammatory. So I'm gonna put in here, and I will blend it. Notice that I haven't put any kind of sweetener and any kind of sugar in this granola, because no longer needed, because the pumpkin will give that sweet flavor together with the cinnamon. Okay, so if you check in here, I will mix it up now, this liquid in here, and I will bake it. So the fruit, any kind of fruit you want to add into, will be in the end when the granola is ready. So we're gonna bake it, and we'll be ready in the end of our live today. I'm turning on the oven. Add some baking powder. Split it and put very thin everywhere. smells so good. Now that it's on, we're gonna go to. I also, for those who registered on this live, I will be sending all this recipe. Type it down for you guys, and also be aware that today we are doing a giveaway for all those who registered, and it's alive on with us. One of those, okay, to be participating. So the next one we're gonna do, I'm gonna do the dressing salad, but just before we're gonna do like a tabbouleh salad, but this time I'm gonna use it millet. It's type of grain as well, and it's a gluten free, so it's not like a couscous, Moroccan couscous, which is made by wheat. So for those who like to be more, I just gonna wash it first. It's all very important to be wash it, quinoa and all the grains before you start to cook. Rice, everything, it's very important to be wash it. I wash it. Now I'm gonna use heated water to cook. Everything you're gonna cook, it's very important to be cooked with water. Sometimes we confuse that because it is we are cooking, we think we're gonna kill all the parasites and bacteria and virus that is in the water. Yes, we will kill it, but you don't gonna reduce the amount of chemicals. You're not gonna reduce the amount of heavy metals and balance minerals that is in that water. So that's why it has to be filtered water. Everything you're gonna wash it, everything you're gonna clean, and also everything you're gonna soak it. Okay, so just be aware. And when you're drinking water as well, okay, let's be more aware what we are intaking in our body. So now I'm cooking here the millet, which is very easily to be cooked, and the salads that we're gonna prepare that can last a couple of times, a couple of days in your fridge. I will give you some tips. First, so if you're gonna use tomatoes in your salad, if you wanna last longer, you can take it out the seeds. Or what you can do is chop it up the tomatoes like I done, but add it on the day you're gonna eat it instead of mix it up with everything. Because and then the liquid from the tomato it's acid, and also the seeds will be like slightly cooking all the vegetables and all the things that are in the salad, and then that can uh, preventing for less longer your salad. That's why I would recommend to or take it out the seeds if you're the type like me don't like waste the food, and then you can just chop it up, leave it aside, and add into your daily. Or another thing you can do it is with the cucumbers the same. You can take it out the seeds from the cucumber to use later on your smoothie. You don't need to waste it in here, okay? You can use that because cucumber is very important and also amazing to ingest the seeds as well. But you can add on your smoothie, for example, on your first morning. It's amazing. So you can chop it up that, and I will put together with the capsicums. We're gonna use it, and also here it's a green beans, which I steam it because it's also one of the things that has, if you eat a lot of raw, has a bit of oxalate. It's anti-nutrient that in excess can also um, decrease the absorption of iron, magnesium, calcium. So I also slightly steam the the carrots, and also I can use some cabbage that I cooked and I sliced it, steam as well, because cabbage, I can see here in Australia, a lot of people love it slaw salad with all the cabbages in. And cabbages is actually a type of vegetable that we should be cooking, slightly cooking, because it's very rich in oxalate, and it's once again is not very good for our digestion. So in here I did slightly steam it, and I just did put a bit on the fridge so that it doesn't overcooked. And we're gonna prepare this salad so that we can eat on. If you guys have any questions and would you like to just text me or say something through the comments or the chat from YouTube, because I'm doing a live through the YouTube channel and also through the Instagram page from Green South Movement. And I hope you are enjoying it today. Also, just a quick that I want to show you guys. All the wastage that I've been using this kitchen today, so all the pumpkin seeds or even the leaves of the skin of the onions, the cabbage, everything that's supposed to be a wastage, I'm gonna do a veg stock with it. So once again, in my kitchen, I don't like to have a wastage. So I try reuse everything that it's eating, or the skin from the carrots and everything. I have been putting that bowl and I'm gonna cook. And what I can do with my veg stock, well, I can do a soup, I can do a broth, I can have also in my curries, if I'm gonna cook curries, and also I can drinking before my meals, such as lunch or dinner, because will help. It's amazing for your gut, and if you're not gonna use straight away, you can freeze it. You can freeze and using slow while you are cooking different meals. But yeah, and how you do it, you add with water and cook for around 2 hours, reducing the water in a medium heat, not never in a high heat, because it's not like needs to be not too boiling, not too hot, because need to take it out then all the nutrients through the the vegetables, but needs to stay in the water. If you cook in a higher temperatures, will lose the nutrients. So it's important to be in a medium heat. So these seeds I will leave for my smoothie. So I'm not gonna use for cooking. Just to show you, the millet is cooking. Will be ready soon. Okay. I'm gonna wash the bowl. So I'm gonna mix the cucumber and the beans in. I'm gonna mix the capsicum. I'm gonna mix the carrots. And I'm gonna leave as a side the tomato, as I said. So here's the mix of the salad and the cabbage that is lighted, steamed. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the dressing. Also, I did a bit of red onion, chop it, that we can add into the salad. But I'm gonna be using a bit on this dressing. So uh, for the dressing, I'm gonna use a bit of lemon. You can take out the skin and the white part and using the whole thing. Another thing that I done for the salad it's pepitas and sunflower because I wanna do a complete meal this salad. So I'm thinking in uh, protein. I'm thinking the carbohydrate, but also I'm thinking the fat, which comes through the sauce. But also I'm adding seeds and I toasted before so that I will take the anti-nutrients out so I can ingest it in the right way. And I will place it in the salad in here in the bowl. So the important when you are being plant-based or when you try to be vegetarian or you just choose to eat a vegetarian meal, you need to think the variation because the variation will give you different types of protein. Okay, so for example, for you have the whole amino acids that we need daily. You need to have a rice and a beans together, and then we'll give you the whole amino acids that we need to intake per day. So in here in this salad, you have a grain that I'm cooking, which is the millet, and I'm putting a protein that's come towards the pepitas and the seeds and the green beans, which a green dark vegetable has a lot of protein into. So that's why this meal will be a bit of a complete meal, so you can have on your lunch, especially, and then you don't need to add anything else. Okay. And once again, this meal is very complete because it's has a lot of varieties and will give you a lot of different types of micronutrients as well, which is the minerals, the vitamins. And with the colors that I will give you, also will give different types of antioxidants that will prevent you from many types of disease. And the dressing that we are going to show you now, it's important to be less oil as well because nowadays the dress that we have through restaurants or when we buy from the supermarket, it's very, very full in sugar and also in oil. So that's why I never will recommend no one to buy a dressing through a supermarket or from the restaurant is just full of oil because unfortunately chefs they love use a lot of oil on their cooks because fat is amazing to give amazing taste, right? So it's we are used to that, and that's why it's normal for them to use oil in everything, and it's actually not good for our body. So that's why I'm using the ginger in here. So I'm taking, because remember, as I said, I like to use a lot of ginger powder or fresh ginger in my recipes because will help digest the protein, vegan protein also. And then you're not going to feel too bloated. And here is a turmeric and I'm taking the skin out, which I'm gonna put in my vegetable stock, this skin, so nothing's wasting here. I will blend it, so it will be amazing dressing and inflammation. inflammatory as well. So now I'm gonna put a bit of salt, Celtic salt. And a bit of water, and I will blend it together with the olive oil. I will do this. It's a 2 tablespoons of olive oil, which is pretty much that. So it's not much that's gonna go in my dressing. And let's go blend it. One can add some herbs in. Add the tahini. So the tahini will give that smooth. So it's a 2 tablespoons of tahini. And you keep mixing the canola in as well as check the canola and mixing while it's being baking. So it's gonna stick. It smells amazing. All those spices. So 2 tablespoons of tahini. So it's high in protein. It's amazing, rich in vitamin A. The craving of sweet for those who have sweet teeth. So I'm adding water. And we'll blend it. Here now it's reducing the water on the millet, but needs a little bit longer. So I'm gonna add a little bit of water again to be continuous cooking it. So now and I will add the oil in. Blend it. So what you can do is this dressing you can place in a jar and it will last longer in the fridge, so you don't have to do it every day. So this is a turmeric tahini dress. So the dressing is ready for your salad, and once again you're gonna add your dressing the day you are gonna eat it, not now, okay? So you're gonna make your bowl, or you can plate up as a takeaway meals for use to be ready for your week plan, and you add to the day this dressing, not now, okay? Now I'm gonna do it. My third recipe, which is the protein bowls. I love recommend protein bowl for my clients rather than they use buy protein bars through the supermarket, because it's full of um, not health ingredients such as syrup. Like I said, they add sugar in, and also they add preservatives and additives in. So that's why I like to do this easiest way of protein ball, that you don't need to use a food processor. Okay, first you're gonna take it out the dates. Once again, in my kitchen, I like to use everything organic. Why it's organic? It's not just about the pesticides and chemicals or sprays that they put in, but it's also because uh, why what's mean organic? Organic it's mean the seeds has been not modified genetically, and also organic mean that supposedly that the farm is not using chemicals and pesticides in the plantation, right? So what's happening it is that the farms, the non-organic farms, they use a lot of the seeds that call GMO, which is genetic modified, and they change the DNA of the seeds so that the seed doesn't produce a smell. So that's supposedly not to attract insects to the plantation, and then that would reduce the amount of pesticides in the plantation. But this didn't work it, and they still using the same amount of pesticide in the plant. But the problem it is so that the plant doesn't produce the smell of it, of the natural smell of the each plant, the plant stop to absorbing 40% the nutrients through the soil. So you are eating a normal vegetables that you find in in a normal supermarket that is non-organic, but you are eating something that has less 40% nutrient. That's why you nowadays you say those vegetables and fruit is not tasteable, and it's watering, and it's like it doesn't have much in. That's why, because you are having something that's 40% less nutrients. That's why I recommend my clients to having organic. It's not just about if that is pesticides or not, because sometimes it's harder to trust if actually the farm is being honest and not using, or if the farm it actually has the certificate or not of it. So it's very harder to trust nowadays because people are just thinking about money making, right? But it's very important for you at least be organic for that reason, because you're gonna observe way more nutrients than the GMO ones, okay? Or at least you can try find those ones that farms that it's still not modified seeded, but they are using some sprays or some pesticides. If you know well that farm, and then it actually doesn't have to be totally organic, because also you can wash it with apple cider vinegar and bicarb so that we reduce the amount of chemicals your fruit and veg, and some kind of fruit that has like a thick skin in, or a vegetable that has a thick skin in, and you're not going to use that skin, you actually can be using it not being organic. But once as I said, um, think about the amount of nutrient you are intake. Okay, so for the dates, now it's been cooking the meal, and I will put it aside because I wanna let it cool down before to mix to the salad. Okay, and now we're gonna cook a bit dates. So now that I took out the seeds, I'm gonna put the dates here, and I'm gonna cook it because that it's the sweetener of my protein bowl. Okay, so filtered water. Doesn't need to be much water in. Okay, so it's just a little bit. Okay, thank you. Let's cook it. Sorry for the mess. Just try to be not too long. I'll show you a lot of. Um, Also, what I done in here, I toasted my pepitas and sunflower seeds, and I will mix through desiccated coconut. And instead of I use like a multiprocessor, I buy already the almond or cashew spread to do. I don't like to use too much pine nuts because the type of legumes is actually not a nut, and also I don't know if they activate it before being used, and also pine nuts sometimes can be not very well digesting into my body, especially because they have a type of fungus in, so I don't know how they did it, so I rather use almond or Brazilian or cashews because Brazilian nuts it's from Brazil, and the soil in Brazil is very rich in selenium, which here in Australia the soil is not, it's poor in selenium. So I like to always have Brazilian nuts in my meals so that I can get that selenium. And also I do like to use almond because it's more high in protein, and that can give that balance, not just being too fatty, okay, because nuts is very high in fat. Let's continue in here. You're gonna bowl. So I like to use carobi, and that is can be a substitute of cacao for those who doesn't want to use cacao because there is a little bit of caffeine in, not too much because sometimes people confuse theobromine with caffeine that is in the cacao. And cacao can be a bit stimulant, but not as much as the caffeine through the coffee. That's why it's more theobromine than caffeine in, but I like have both so that I feel like I'm eating a type of chocolate, but it's like more protein, it's balanced, and it doesn't have harmful ingredients in. But also, once again, because it's health, doesn't mean you should have five or six of it because it's very caloric. So even though it's a health thing that I'm showing here, everything needs to be in balance. Okay. So I gonna add the carobi and the cacao powder, which together would be 1 cup. So if you want to just use cacao, go for, or if you want to use just carobi, go for as well. So putting the powders in here. The type of protein needs the seeds that I'm using, the sunflower and the pepitas. I toasted before I use because this is a raw dish, and um, the pepitas and the sunflower toasted taste like a peanut, so it's a nice flavor. And then after I toasted, I blend it. So you don't need to blend it. You can leave some of the pieces of the seeds and eat it through your and roll together with your protein balls. Once again, these protein balls I'm trying to be more grain free, especially because I'm be using grain on my salad. I'm using grain on my granola, so I try also find that balance through my meals as well. So I'm putting the coconut flakes in, and then I'm adding a quarter of cup of coconut oil in, and I'm cooking the dates dissolving it. And I will add the mix in. Oops, get lost in the kitchen. Okay, so I put it, usually it's 1 cup, so 250 milligrams. Easy to make it. You don't need to break down anymore any food processor like I did in the past. Blended the nuts. So you can add more coconut oil if you want, but if I feel that after I add the dates and I still needed a bit of, still need to be a little bit wet, I will add a little bit of water, or you can even add a bit of any type of milk you want. Also, you can do that instead of use the cashews almond, you can do tahini balls as well. It's amazing. So can you see I'm mixing through? When I put the dates, it's gonna be perfect. And we'll give that sweet. Sometimes I also like to add my protein powder in. Still a little bit more to be cooked the dates. But if you see it, it's dissolving because I want to create like a paste. So it's coming through. And then I can blend it to be very, I'm gonna wash the blender. Check the granola. See, it's getting dry. So, as you can see here, it's looking nice. The taste is almost ready. I'm gonna just take it out a bit of the liquid. I'm gonna use everything, so as you can see, it's pretty much ready. I'm gonna put it in here. So I'm gonna blend it to make a paste. And I will finish doing the protein ball. So you can see. Just need to be like that. Then put it here. You can mix it. And you can see, you see, it's nice consistency. This can last out of the fridge for 3 days or in the fridge 15 days for 20 days because it's high in fat, and this will make be the natural preservative of it. So 0 preservatives, 0 additives, 0 harmful ingredients, and a nice snack for you, and also that will help you to, for those who loves to crave sugar. In my recipes, I avoid maximal add sugar in, but I do use sugar through the fruit, through um, through the I try always use like dates or goji or pumpkin or something that has that sweet flavor, and then I try add to the meal, so and then I can have that balance. Also, I'm not very a sweet thief, but one of the things that try helps me to reduce the consumption of sugar, it is start to eating more sour food such as grapefruit because it's very sour and that help balance your craving for sweetness. Also, a lot of lime juice through the day on your dressing, on your salads, on your food. Um, that is some kind of vegetables that they are sour, bitter. That all those type of flavor will help you reduce the craving with sugar, and also cinnamon tea, nutmeg powder, coriander powder, cumin powder. Those type of powders also help you to reduce the craving of sweetness. So here it's ready to roll, so we can roll, make like small balls. Sometimes people like to make look fancy, then you can put on the desiccated coconut and will be, but yeah, this is the protein ball. In the fridge gonna be looking a bit tough, hard. That's why when I'm going to eat, I take it out and leave for 30 minutes before, because I like to eat a bit soft, not too tough, because sometimes the fridge can be a bit dry if it's too hard. But if you see it's soft, but it still can be easy to roll. Right, now we're gonna go to our last recipe for the day, and I'm gonna show you how to do a veg patty. And to finalize that veg patty, also I will back to the salad with the millet just to show you how it is. Okay. The chickpea has been cooked before, and I will blend it because I need to be looking like a paste to do my veg patty. So I wash, blend it again. Chickpea is being cooked. I soak it overnight as well. Um, like, just to show you guys, I soak it for 12 hours and I've been changing the water since then, 4 times at least. Why? Because after 3 to 4 hours, the anti-nutrients that comes out from the legumes, from chickpea, from the beans, such as phytic acid or oxalate, they will come through the water, but after 4 hours, it will back inside the chickpeas. So that's why it's important to change the water. About 10 years ago, we used to say to I used to say to my clients, only soak for 12 hours. But new certs, they have been showing that it's important for us change the water every 4 hours. I know it's harder because we are in a busy life and we don't have a time to changing the water every 4 hours. And um, so that's why we buy everything ready. But when it comes to myself and look after my body, I start to pay attention that when I do very well with my cookings and prepare all my meals, I feel so much better inside out, not just outside, because also our cultures is just to think about how is your body outside. If you have a nice ab, if you have a nice butt, if you have a nice boobs or everything, if you are, have that nice body that the society approves, and then that's mean you are health. But that's not the meaning of health. The meaning of health is when you combine your four bodies. And what is your four bodies? Your mental, your emotional, your physical, and your spiritual body. So when you balance these four bodies, it's mean you are going in a way to be healthier. So that's why it's important when we look after our digestion, because when we look after our digestion, when we look after what we are intake, we are looking after our mental health, we are looking after our emotional health, because the mental health is very, very connected with your gut. So just be aware of that. So I keep changing the water of it, okay? And then I cook. So that's what I done. I cook that chickpea here and I will blend it. I will blend it slowly because my blender is not last one. I have to put a little bit water and let's so I blended the chickpea. Blend it a little bit more. Don't need to be perfect because the pieces of the chickpea also will help to glue the veg patty. Okay. Now I'm going to start also to do my veg stock because I don't need to. I already finished all the preparation. Not going to have any waste. Filtered water. I put usually it's good to do in a pot, so it's deep, but I don't have a pot in this kitchen. That's all good. That doesn't mean you cannot do it. So I add the water in, and I will place all the parts that I would waste in the kitchen, and I will make my vegetable stock in here. Don't need to add water or oil like the chefs would add water. Oh, sorry, don't need to add salt or oil. So now I'm leaving close. Okay, so I toasted my veg patty. I toasted the pepitas and I blended already. okay? Because I still a bit crunchy, as you can see it, but I still wanted to um, toast it so that I can take the anti-nutrients out of it. I will repeating every single recipe that I'm done today about the anti-nutrients that is in seeds, legumes, and grains. So I toasted, but I still leaving some the seeds out. And I cooked pumpkin as well, and I will do like will be mixed through. So nutritional is flakes that is rich in B12, so and also in protein and give that cheesy flavor, and penicillin husk that will help to glue it, and also it's a type of fiber. So we mix them all through together. And I'm mixing, and I can see still a bit wet. What I gonna do it is grab the buckwheat, seed, flakeners, and I will blend it because I want to use as a flour. So if you don't have the buckwheat flour, you simple can blend it, and then it will become a flour. I'm drying here. I love use blending up most of my recipes, so it's very important for me to have a good blender to blend my things. Or a good multi processor as well. Please, if you guys wanna to register it, to participate in the giveaway, and also to receive all the recipes that I done today, send an email to info@greensouthmovement.com.au, please. And if you want to give me any feedback, or if you feel like you need to question me, and please send by mail as well if you couldn't finish the live today, or also I can send you the whole video because I'm also on YouTube, and you can be seeing it through that as well. Okay. So now you can see that I blended. I forgot to show you. I blended, and it's looked like a flour. You see, and now I'm mixing. It's getting a bit more dry. So I put the rest in, and we can put a little bit of flavoring. I'm using the potassium salt and a bit of pepper. You also can put different seasonings as you wish. You can put some herbs in. You can put some basil, coriander, parsley in, or you can put some different pounders, flavors in. It's all about how you feel supposed to be. The taste of rosemary, it's amazing. Thyme is amazing for taste like a patty. So this vegetable stock will be cooking in a medium heat for around 2 hours, and I will be taking the liquid, separate the liquid through the other part, and then I will save the liquid to use, as I said, in a soup or in a broth, or even if it's amazing to have before meals, such as in a lunchtime or in a dinner time, because it's amazing for your gut, because it's rich in vitamin C, and also will help you to uh, produce more collagen into your body as well. And collagen, and it's amazing for your gut. So now it's to bake it. Let's see the granola how it is. The granola is already dry. I don't need to. It's amazing. So I can take it out. That one here, the top one is ready, but that one here is still wet. I will leave a bit. Top. So you can see it. You didn't have to add oil on your veg patty as a normal chef would add. And here will be amazing if you add some herbs, as I said, and it's ready to be baked. And you're gonna give some, if you want to be, if you are vegetarian, you also can add a bit of eggs in, but may you need to add a bit of flour, the buckwheat flour, if you add eggs, or reduce the amount of pumpkin, and then will be more protein in. So this veg is ready. Veggie. You see, it's so easy to do it. You just need to organize, plan ahead your meals, and then you don't need to waste too much time in the kitchen. You check your recipes, you check what you're gonna do it, buy the right ingredients in the supermarket, do a shop list, and then okay, then I have to use that, and then you prepare what you're gonna do, like what you need to soak the day before, and then the next day you're gonna take 1 hour, 2 hours to prepare your meal for the week, for your 5 days. Because if you live to do on the day every day, some days you are so tired that you like, man, I'm not gonna cook. I'm just very tired today. I had a stress day that I'm not gonna do nothing. And then you choose to eat something from a restaurant or a takeaway that's full of oil, and sometimes they use food from cans, or even you're gonna buy something you're gonna do something very easy from can, or even those meals that it's frozen, that it's already prepared, you know, but also is full of chemicals and preservatives in. And then you don't realize how much chemical you are putting into your body, and you don't realize how you are overloading your liver, and with so much have metals, with so much chemicals into your body. And what's happening is we start, what the liver does, it's take it out from your blood system, but and then puts in your fat cells, and also sometimes they go to your bones and then take it out a calcium molecule, and then put inside your bones the toxins and the chemicals in there, And then later on, when you get older, you start to have your osteoporosis. It's not because you didn't ingest much calcium during your life. It's just because it was so much loaded with chemicals and heavy metals into your body that your liver, your organism was putting all these toxins in your bones so that you could not be all the time on your blood system, so you're not going to use too much your immune system all the time to kill it, and also not overload your kidneys to filter it and take it out, all those. So sometimes our body, mm, it's amazing. We can heal ourselves through our body, but if it's overloaded, if it's very inflamed, it's very hard to begin with. So that's why it's very important to us to be conscious about what we are intake daily, and how, because sometimes we think what we are doing is actually it's right, but because we are not thinking how they did that, if they did in the right way. And out there is so many diets, keto diet, that is a raw diet, that is a vegan diet, that is a vegetarian diet, so many different types of diet that you you don't know what to follow, you don't know what to do. The first thing I say, follow first your listening to your body, and because everyone it's different, and everyone does a different activities, so everyone will have different necessities. So listening to your body is the first thing, and is stopping to follow a diet like a paleo diet or a keto diet or a FODMAP diet. No, because we, like keto diet, for example, it's so much low in carbohydrate, and we do need a complex carbohydrate. We don't need a refined carbohydrate, but we do need a complex carbohydrate. We need a balance. And then if you're not eating too much carbohydrate, if you are eating pretty much zero, you're gonna damage your brain and your kidneys with excess of protein and fat. So we need to be aware of those. Or sometimes it's the same when we take too much ingredients through your diet, doing paleo or doing this or doing that, and then we're gonna miss it out in some micro and macronutrients. But also, if it's a reason that you're gonna only do for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, because you are doing like a kind of detox to de-inflame your body, it's another thing. But try listen to your body and see which type of food it's actually good for yourself, because you can notice when you eat this doesn't quite goes well with you. Like for example, I notice myself, if I do eat a red meat, I don't feel very well to digest this. I don't feel very um, present when I in my digestion start, and I start to begin very slowly to process things. And also, if I do eat avocado, I realize that is not very good for my digestion. And avocado, it's amazing type of fruit, and I always recommend for my clients, but for myself it's quite not good. So if you start to listening to those things, you start to realize what is not good for you and what it is. Okay, so now for the salad, now that the millet's been cooked and it's not hot anymore, I'm gonna add to my salad, and we'll be ready the couscous salad, the tabbouleh salad, in a healthy way, gluten free. And it's high protein, and it's ready my prep meals for the week. Easy then. Night dressing. And for example, instead of you use the millet, you could use the cooked chickpea and mix it up through it. And then I will have the tomatoes in here with that salad and the cabbage with that salad. Done. So I hope you enjoy my life, and I hope you enjoy uh, be with me today for pretty much 1 hour and a half, as I said. Now it's at 10:21, and I'm very happy to share my knowledge with you guys. I am 14 years working with nutrition. So my background is a dietitian that I done back in Brazil. I am postgraduating in herbal medicine, which is similarly with naturopath. I also been postgraduated in Chinese medicine. That's why I call myself holistic, because I like to look after my clients as a whole. If you come to me and say, I just want to lose weight, I'm not going to just give you that goal that you are looking. I'm going to actually check your whole body and see how supposed to be, and I will do that for you. Thank you for everyone. Thank you, Flavia. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. And I very appreciated all the support that I received from all of you. And thank you so much to help me to keep going in this journey, and share content, share knowledge, and share